Hey everybody, welcome to the first episode of Cook Like a German's quarantine cooking. Here is the sourdough bread he made today. We'll come back to that at another time. Let me introduce you to the chef du jour, the German,
Hello.
George.
Hi.
Tell us what we're doing.
Well, we are doing simple today, all right? So we are doing leftovers and some nice steak. In this case, not everyone has it. Doesn't have to be Wagyu, but any nice ribeye will do. Defrost it, let it really sit in your kitchen, getting warm. Don't rush it. And just a little bit sea salt, coarse sea salt, and black pepper. I like pepper mills, so ground up, not the thin stuff. It's just better in tasting. That really will do. And what you want to do is maybe you spray it just a little bit with olive oil, so it has a little bit of coating on it, and that is it.
All right, go.
Okay, so in German cooking, meat goes well with mushrooms if you like mushrooms. I do love mushrooms. These are just a couple of cuminies, like regular mushrooms, and some green peppercorns, just because I had them in the refrigerator. Doesn't mean you need them, but they give a nice taste. These are some wild mushroom mixes. You want to at least 15 minutes soak in water. They are 90% water in nature, so when you bring them back into water, they actually really come back. Then they give you a nice little mushroom taste. A couple of potato bread dumplings, Knödel in German. In another session, we can make the Knödels. I had them in the freezer. They're actually made mainly out of a little bit flour and old bread, but they crunch up and actually will be your starch to suck up the nice gravy what you want with your meat.
What kind of meat are we having here?
This is a ribeye, but it's a Wagyu, Australian Wagyu ribeye, so it's a little bit better quality, but in general it's a ribeye. Like 3 minutes really on each side on a barbecue or a grill pan if you're medium rare, and 4 minutes medium, and a little bit more than 4 minutes each side when you really don't do this with this meat. Don't because I mean that's an expensive cut, and you don't want to really make a really well done out of it. But yeah, so it's simple. The whole thing should take not more than half an hour.
What about your tools that you're going to be using?
Okay, I highly recommend a grill pan. This is a cast iron grill pan, old-fashioned style. What really does the same trick. You can heat that thing up for 500 degrees. And you get grill marks on it. Yes.
What's going in there?
Non-stick. Bring it a little bit down. Is spray it a little bit with olive oil. Really cool thing. Just put any oil you like on it, like $2 investment, and just spray in it. Let it warm up a little bit. What goes in here now is actually the dumplings, which are actually fully cooked, but we have to revive them a little bit. And put a little blower on here because these guys, the idea is we want to brown them. Just get it a little crunchy side. Nothing fancy. I mean, all what we're talking about here is maybe 1.5 rolls of bread, a little flour, like some herbs mixed in. There are a lot of recipes. It's a very big staple in the Bavarian kitchen to do like dumplings, mainly out of 2-day-old bread, 3-day-old bread. Could be baguette, could be like rolls. Of course, the Bavarians have their own like dumpling bread, just for this case. But anything what you say, it's a little bit too dry to eat. Just keep it, cube it, milk, a little bit butter, a little bit flour, and some herbs, and mix it together and make dumplings out of it, and off you go. This is browning a little bit. We actually
What are you putting on there for coating? Any oil or?
olive oil, just only a little bit olive oil. I mean, you technically don't need it when you have the meat already like sprayed, but you don't want to stick it and rip it off. So this will take a little second, but after this, as we know with a cast iron, it really stays hot for quite a while. So these guys we have to wait. This steak, we know already like roughly 10 minutes that steak is done. So most time you spend is really for the mushrooms and the wild mushrooms. It's good in the kitchen. $2, that's all what you need. And you can see they brown very quickly, so you really have to watch it. Like I said, I can take them out and eat them right now, so there's no health issues or something. That's perfectly already cooked and frozen, and you can keep them in the freezer most likely for 2 months without an issue. Alright, we are building the sauce now. I'd like to start with a couple of regular onions. These are yellow onions, but any onions. I have a lot of shallots too, they work. But in this case, we're using some yellow onions. Yes, they are not like all diced nicely small. We don't really need to, because we want to really, I want to have a like rough cut sauce gravy, not like a fancy like smooth and everything filtered out. We give the onions a couple minutes. Always good to have a spatula. Always good to have these guys to get things off the cutting board. They are really essential. In the moment, all what's going on here is onions with a little oil. These little ketchup bottles, really practical for some oil, so you don't need your big bottle all the time. Give it a little stir. So start with our next, what would be actually our mushrooms, regular mushrooms with.
Wait, slow down.
Okay. With some green peppers. Okay. Throw them in there. Oh yeah. That's my helpers. Unfortunately, they're not helping that much, but they're always there when the food is done. Hey Chip, Sandy, zip it. Okay. This pan is on for the steak, and I just use them to warm up our little dumplings. So we have a couple of wild mushrooms here, chanterelles, and also some porcinis. It's a mix. Not everyone likes wild mushroom taste, but I do. It reminds me in Germany like mushroom hunting, and it's just way different than our normal Crimini and white mushrooms and whatever we have, even portobellos, which is all cultivated, so none of it is really wild. So when they're forest mushrooms, you should see something like this. I mean, everyone most likely knows this stuff in the US. Like, that's how we see most of our wild mushrooms. In Germany, I mean, you can go in the fall into like supermarkets and you get like baskets with porcinis and chanterelles, which are here $50 a pound, and they're awesome in taste if you like it. Just a little butter and parsley and you're good with them. So just roll them in. This will be our base for our sauce. They can sit and we warm them up a little bit when we are ready to go. When the heat is ready here, not quite yet. I mean, another tool I recommend, and it's cheap, like $20. If you want to know if something is ready and the temperature is there, this laser surface, see it's Fahrenheit, it's Celsius. It really tells you what you're dealing with by pointing a laser to it. And you can see it's like getting close to 500 degrees now. So let it sit a couple more minutes, and you don't want to ever have a grill pan what is cold and then you throw the meat on, because by the time you get really crunch, I mean, by the time it heats inside, you need it so long on that you're most likely ruining the meat, because it takes so much time to get the crunchy outside. I think they call it umami, like when everything caramelizes and gives you this like, oh, I like the meat taste. Sorry, vegetarians, but I'm a meat person. Nothing wild going on here. Now they're cooking. What I like to do is a little paprika. We keep it simple. I mean, I like spicy, so that's everyone else's call, but that's another thing. Sea salt, and if you ever have jalapeno peppers or any other peppers and they get bad and you can't eat them all, cut them for a day, leave them outside on your counter, let them dry, or dehydrate them in a microwave or in the oven, ground them up and put them in your salt, and you get a really potent, nice little spiciness without doing much.
Non-stick is good for this.
Yes, because we don't go for mashed potato onions here where we want to really crunch them up. We go for like onions which stay still like in form, and the mushrooms are still in form and not like shrimpling down and getting all dry. Yes. Welcome back. We are doing like a quarantine cooking, German style. Cook like a German. I mean, what's quarantine cooking? Well, we are living here close to New York, actually across the pond. We see the statue behind our outside there, and so we are working in New York since 2 weeks. We are not allowed to go into our workspace anymore, so we are buckled up in our house with our dogs, and we got some staples and some wine and beer, and now quarantine cooking is like, make the best out of it, and don't eat only spaghettis. Try to do good, and then what you like, and then stretch it out and be creative, because it will be a couple weeks, and so I think eating and drinking is very important in this time, that you enjoy it. So, hi, welcome back. We are trying to do now our gravy, our sauce. I have a little demi-glaze with water here, just to give it some body and also some taste. We have our mushrooms and onions and green peppers nicely cooked. We are adding, first we are not shy to do that, and heat that up. What we want to do is everything should really soak in it. Crank up the heat a little bit. Now, I like my meat with wine. Well, with wine, but also with wine in my sauce. So wine always good. If you like red wine, I do. I love it. But also cooking with whiskey or with white wine and with beer is totally fine. It just has to be something different, and we can get to this in other episodes. So little red wine is a staple in some good foundation sauces. Don't worry about it. By the time we eat that, the alcohol is actually really gone. Most likely in the next 5 minutes you don't really have anything really in there. We also incorporate, this is a little sloppy. Normally what I recommend is using some butter and some herbs and a little bit flour. Roll it all up and you can put it in the freezer. In this case I don't have the flour in it because I don't need the binding, because I had the demi-glace. So I can use it right away like this. But if you make your life easy, 50% flour, 50% butter, mix it together, make balls out of it, and put them in the Ziploc in the freezer. Whenever you make a gravy, just throw them in. In you go. While this is cooking a little bit here and reducing to, well, I wouldn't call it a red wine reduction because that's a little bit too small amount of red wine, but that's what it is. Let's see what this guy can do. This is our Wagyu ribeye, and I like it medium rare, so I would say we shouldn't go, never should go above 4 minutes each side. So it's tempting, but we just leave it alone. Fresh sour cream, you call it here. Always good to have. This is the light version, so light sour cream. I prefer it over regular. You don't need more fat to add it to it, but it gives it a nice little binding and color. So this guy is, as you can see, nicely going. So this will be a rough mushroom hunter sauce, we call it. Very often we use this with pork chops, and it's one of my favorites. You can spice it up, you can make it mild. Less pepper, the peppercorns are not necessary, but I love it. Sometimes I throw green and black peppercorns in it just to make it a little bit more spicy. We have to make sure that our veggies are not burning. They will be crunchy, and that's the idea. I just want them really crunched up for a little side bite. And as you can see, I think they're pretty good and they can just rest. So, stop cooking here. Done. Now this guy, we have to keep an eye on. So let's just set the timer to 3 minutes. So, okay, welcome back. Quarantine cooking like Germans. We made some bread today. We had some flour. We had some sourdough starter we made, but you can also do like a regular bread mixture. Bread in Germany, it's very important. We have around 600 types of bread, all kind of variations, and it's just a staple. So you can lock up a German with some beer or wine and a good bread, butter and cheese and some salami, and they would be happy. So what we do here is we bake those two today. These are just sourdough rye breads, and they really are good with a nice gravy to dunk in and get a little bite out of it. Not a necessity, but why not while we have it, right? Here. We are 50 seconds away from the wagyu. Our sauce is coming very, very nicely. We have to actually reduce it. Actually, I switch it off now because we are dealing with 4 or 5 minutes. Let's see what we have here. Can we lift it? Not yet, so we have still 33 seconds. So, hi, welcome back. And now we are attending to our steak. It's 4 minutes on there, roughly. Can you grill on a cast iron pan? Let's see. We are reading like almost 600. We are reading 600 degrees. If you have a good barbecue, 600 degrees is very, very hot. So yes. Let's see how the first side came out. I would say that is good. We have the umami, we have the caramelization, we have the grill marks. We can do fancy. I could have after 2 minutes position it to get the crust like everyone likes, but we just want to eat today, so we don't want to make it fancy. So 4 minutes to go to plating. All right. So the pan is like 600 degrees, everything is off, the meat is resting now. I just put the dumplings on to warm up. The sour cream goes in with our medley of red wine reduction mushrooms and onions, just to give it a little tiny creaminess. You don't need that, but sometimes some people like it. I like it. And it's not a lot. It's 1 spoon of sour cream. It really doesn't hurt. And it's light, so the fat content is really not. But it gives you the little like mushroom ragu type of color. At this point, it's important to switch it off, because you don't really need... Sorry, always have to taste what I cook. Important. If I don't like it, why would you like it? Alright, definitely not good. Cheers. Now the time. We don't want to overcook this here. So even the heat is off. This is still super hot. So this meat is cooking. This is I know a lot of you people, and I could too, but I don't have to. This is enough for 2 people. You don't need to eat the whole thing, but you can. I don't stop you from it. But we try to share, so I let this rest so it doesn't overcook. And let's see what we got. These guys are just only little sides right now in this dish. And these guys should be really cauliflower and mini asparagus. Baby asparagus should be crunched up. And really it's only like a little crunchy stuff. It's not meant to be overcooked. Like I said before, you can definitely eat it yourself, but we are not giant eaters, so I think this is a good meat to share. And hopefully I didn't overcook it, and I think it's just right. We could leave it and rest more, but I'm getting hungry. So one guy might unroll too, but no, he is good. Don't forget the juice. The resting juice is really, really good. Okay, so the whole idea, 30 minutes, simple dish. What I like to do is, don't kill me for that, but I'm German. I do like, let's see, I do like some really, you like it, Colleen? I don't know if
Yeah, a little horseradish
I like
is
a little
good.
tiny, that's very mild horseradish. But I like to dab it, I know, and please don't use A1 sauce. I mean, on the other hand, hey, if you love A1 sauce, use whatever you want. No problem. There are no rules, only taste.
So there's a German ribeye with a perfect German gravy, Knödels, and roasted vegetables.
And a little bit pepper
And
for the end.
don't forget to check out Cook Like a German on YouTube, where George will be posting videos regularly during quarantine cooking.
Yep.
Enjoy. Bon appetit.
And
Prost.
come and next time, a beer, a wine, whatever the drink will be.